Aalborg, Aalsund, Allee, Allias, Als, Arlst, Alta, Aam, Amsi, Andal, Anr, Ani, Aao, Aap, Ops, Akbai, Aar, Era, Era, Edvark, Aardvarks, Aardwolf, Aardwolves, Aaron, Arga, Arg, Orhus, Arica, Aaron, Aaronic, Aaron Eichel, Aaronite, Aaronitic, Aaronsbeard, Aaronsbeg, Aaronson, Aarp, Arg, Aauw, Opso, Aax, Aaxes, A, Ab, Abba, Ababa, Ababde, Ababoa, Abac, Abaca, Abaque, Abacaz, Abacate, Abacaxi, Abasi, Abacinate, Abacination, Abasciscus, Abasciscus, Abacist, Abac, Abacli, Abaco, Abacate, Abacterial, Abactinal, Abactinally, Abaction, Abactor, Abaculi, Abaculus, Abacus, Abacuses, Abad, Abada, Abaddon, Abaddon, Abadejo, Abadengo, Abadia, Abadate, Abaf, Abaft, Abigail, Abigail, Abigtha, Abi, Abiot, Abailard, Abasence, Abased, Abaser, Abase, Abased, Abacot, Abacon, Abacus, Abacamuv, Abalation, Abalionate, Abalionated, Abalionating, Abalionation, Abalone, Abalones, Abama, Abamp, Abampir, Abampirs, Abamps, Abana, Aband, Abandon, Abandonable, Abandoned, Abandonedly, Abandone, Abandoner, Abandoners, Abandoning, Abandonment, Abandonments, Abandons, Abandom, Abanet, Abanga, Abanic, Abonition, Abantes, Abapical, Abaptiston, Abaptistum, Abarambo, Abarbaria, Abaris, Abarthrosis, Abarticular, Abarticulation, Abas, Abase, Abased, Abasely, Abasedness, Abasement, Abasements, Abaser, Abasers, Abases, Abasci, Abash, Abashed, Abashedly, Abashedness, Abashes, Abashing, Abashless, Abashlessly, Abashment, Abashments, Abasia, Abasias, Abasic, Abasing, Abasio, Abask, Abasi, Abassi, Abasin, Abastard, Abastardize, Abastral, Abatable, Abatage, Abate, Abated, Abatement, Abatements, Abater, Abaters, Abates, Abatic, Abating, Abatus, Abatist, Abatuses, Abajur, Abat-jours. Abaton. Abatteur. Abatteurs. Abats. Abattage. Abattis. Abattised. Abattises. Abattoir. Abattoirs. Abatto. Abattu. Abitua. Abature. Abo. Abav. Abaxial. Abaxil. Abase. ABB. Abba. Abacy. Abassize. Abacomes. Abatide. Abay. Abay. Abandono. Abass. Abassi. Abbasid. Abbassi. Abba-ssid. Abbasside. Abate. Abbatial. Abbatical. Abati. Abbey. Abbey. Abbeys. Abbeys. Abbeystead. Abbeysteed. Abbays. Abbess. Abysses. Abbaist. Abbevilian. Abbeville. Abbevilian. Abbey. 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 Abbi. Abbeville. Abbocato. Abogata. Abbot. Abbotsy. Abbotsize. Abbotnalius. Abbotrick. Abbots. Abbots. Abbotson. Abbotsford. Abbotship. Abbotships. Abbotson. Abbotson. Abbot. Abbottson. Abbottstown. Abood. Abbotso. Abbr. Abreve. Abbreviatable. Abbreviate. Abbreviated. Abbreviately. Abbreviates. Abbreviating. Abbreviation. Abbreviations. Abbreviator. Abbreviatory. Abbreviators. Abbreviature. Abroachment. ABC. Abscess. Abscissa. Abcolome. ABCs. ABD. Abdal. Abdali. Abdaria. Abdad. Abdel. Abdl Kadir. Abdl Krim. Abdella. Abderhalden. Abdurian. Abdirite. Abdirus. Abdest. Abdias. Abdicable. Abdicant. Abdicate. Abdicated. Abdicates. Abdicating. Abdication. Abdications. Abdicative. Abdicator. Abdil. Abditive. Abditory. Abdom. Abdomen. Abdomens. Abdomens. Abdomina. Abdominal. Abdominals. Abdominalia. Abdominalian. Abdominally. Abdominals. Abdomino-anterior. Abdominocardiac. Abdominocentesis. Abdominocystic. Abdominogenital. Abdominohysterectomy. Abdominohysterotomy. Abdominoposterior. Abdominoscope. Abdominoscopy. Abdominothoracic. Abdominus. Abdominouterotomy. Abdominovaginal. Abdominopsical. Abdon. Abdu. Abduus. Abduced. Abducens. Abducent. Abducentes. Abduces. Abducing. Abduct. Abducted. Abducting. Abduction. Abductions. Abductions. Abductor. Abductors. 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 Abducts. Abdul. Abdulaziz. Abdul Baha. Abdullah. Abe. Abi. Abim. aber, aberrance, ababy, abcdare, abcdary, abcdaria, abcdarian, abcdarians, abcdaries, abcdarium, abcdarius, abed, abade, abedge, Abednego, Abiga, Abby, abeyance, abeyances, abeyancy, abeyances, abeyant, abey, Abel, Abelard, Abiel, Abiels, Abelia, Abelian, Abelicia, Abelite, Abel, Abel Moshus, Abel Mosque, Abel Mosques, Abel Musk, Abelonian, Abelson, Abel Tree, Abencerrages, Abend, Abens, Aben Ezra, Abenteric, Abiokuda, Abepithymia, Abip, Abercrombie, Abercrombie, Aberdare, Aberdavine, Aberdeen, Aberdeenshire, Aberdivine, Aberdonian, Aberduvine, Aberfan, Aberglaube, Aberia, Aberystwyth, Abernant, Abernathy, Abernethy, Abernon, Aber, Aberrance, Aberrancy, Aberrancies, Aberrant, Aberrantly, Aberrance, Aberrate, Aberrated, Aberrating, Aberration, Aberrational, Aberrations, Aberrative, Aberrator, Aberometer, Aberoscope, Abert, Oberuncate, Oberuncator, Abbess, Abessive, Abet, Abetment, Abetments, Abets, Abettal, Abettals, Abetted, Abetter, Abetters, Abetting, Abetter, Abetters, Abeu, Abevacuation, Abfarad, Abfarads, ABFM, Abgatha, ABHC, Abhenry, Abhenrys, Abhenrys, Abinai, Abiska, Abominable, Abhor, Abhorred, Abhorrence, Abhorrences, Abhorrency, Abhorrent, Abhorrently, Abhorrer, Abhorrers, Abhorrible, Abhorring, Abhors, Abhorson, Abi, Abi, Abia, Abiathar, Aviv, Abikite, Abidal, Abidance, Abidances, Abidden, Abide, Abided, Abider, Abiders, Abides, Abiding, Abiding, Abidingly, Abidingness, Abidjan, Abidos, Abi, Abi, Abid, Abide, Abig, Abience, Abient, Abbies, Abis, Abitate, Abiatine, Abietic, Abietin, Abietnia, Abietinus, Abietinic, Abitite, Abizer, Abigail, Abigail, Abigails, Abigailship, Abigail, Abigid, Abigii, Abijus, Abihu, Abiying, Abijah, Abila, Abilau, Abilene, Abiliment, Abilene, Abilitable, Ability, Abilities, Abilities, Abila, Abilo, Abime, Abimelech, Abinri, Abingdon, Abinger, Abington, Abinoam, Abinoam, Abintestate, Abiogenesis, Abiogenesis, Abiogenicist, Abiogenetic, Abiogenetical, Abiogenetically, Abiogeny, Abiogenist, Abiogenous, Abiology, Abiological, Abiologically, Abioses, Abiosis, Abiotic, Abiotical, Abiotically, Abiotrophy, Abiotrophic, Abipon, Ubiquiu, Abir, Abirritant, Abirritate, Abirritated, Abirritating, Abirritation, Abirritative, Abis, Abisag, Abisha, Abishag, Abizia, Abysm, Abysmal, Abysmally, Abysms, Abyss, Abyssa, Abyssal, Abysses, Abyssinia, Abyssinian, Abyssinians, Abyssobenthonic, Abyssalith, Abyssopelagic, Abysses, Abyssus, Abyston, Abit, Abitibi, Abiu, Abirad, Abaza, Abject, Abjectness, Abjection, Abject ions, Abjective, Abjectly, Abjectness, Abjectnesses, Abjoint, Abjudge, Abjudged, Abjudging, Abjudicate, Abjudicated, Abjudicating, Abjudication, Abjudicator, Abjugate, Abjunct, Abjunction, Abjunctive, Abjuration, Abjurations, Abjuratory, Abjure, Abjured, Abjurement, Abjurer, Abjurers, Abjures, Abjuring, Abcur, Abcari, Abcari, Abkhaz, Abkhazia, Abkhazian, Abkhaz, Abkhazia, Abkhazian, ABL, ABL, Ablach, Ablactate, Ablactated, Ablactating, Ablactation, Ablaquiate, Ablair, Ablast, Ablastamic, Ablastin, Ablastus, Ablate, Ablated, Ablates, Ablating, Ablation, Ablations, Ablatitious, Ablatival, Ablative, Ablatively, Ablatives, Ablator, Oblout, Oblouts, Ablaze, Able, Able-bodied, Able-bodiedness, Abase, Ablegate, Ablegates, Abligation, Able-minded, Able-mindedness, Ablend, Ableness, Ablepharia, Ablepharon, Ablepharus, Ablepharus, Ablepsy, Ablepsia, Ableptical, Ableptically, Abler, Ables, Ables, Ablest, Ablet, Ablewickets, Ably, Ablings, Ablins, Ablock, Abloom, Ablo, ABLS, Abluid, Abluent, Abluents, Ablush, Abluid, Abluted, Ablution, Ablutionary, Ablutions, Abluvian, ABM, Abmho, Abmos. Abmodality. Abmodalities. ABN. Abnaki. Abnakis. Abnegated. Abnegates. Abnegating. Abnegation. Abnegations. Abnegative. Abnegator. Abnegators. Abner. Abnerval. Abnet. Abneural. Abnormal. Abnormalcy. Abnormal size. Abnormalize. Abnormalized. Abnormalizing. Abnormalism. Abnormalist. Abnormality. Abnormalities. Abnormalize. Abnormalized. Abnormalizing. Abnormally. Abnormalness. Abnormals. Abnormity. Abnormities. Abnormous. Abnumerable. Abio. Aboard. Abortage. Abobra. Abacocket. Aboda. Abode. Aboded. Abodiment. Abodes. Abodes. Abodi. Aboding. Abogado. Abogados. Abome. Abomes. Obwado. Obwados. Obwado. Aboil. Aboito. Aboitos. Aboitos. Abolete. Abolish. Abolishable. Abolish. Abolisher. Abolishers. Abolishes. Abolishing. Abolishment. Abolishments. Abolishments. Abolition. Abolitionary. Abolitionist. Abolitionist. Abolitionizing. Abolitionism. Abolitionist. Abolitionists. Abolitionize. Abolitionized. Abolitionizing. Abolitions. Abala. Abali. Abama. Abamas. Abamasa. Abomasal. Abamasi. Abomasum. Abomasis. Abomasuzi. Abom. Abominability. Abominable. Abominableness. Abominably. Abominate. Abominated. Abominates. Abominating. Abomination. Abominations. Abominator. Abominators. Abomin. Abondance. Abongo. Abon. Abonnement. Abun. Aborad. Aboral. Aborali. Aboard. Aboriginal. Aboriginality. Aboriginally. Aboriginals. Aboriginary. Aborigine. Aborigines. Aborigines. Abramiri. Aborn. Aborning. Aborning. Aborsement. Aborsive. Abort. Aborted. Aborter. Aborters. Aborticide. Abortient. Abortifacient. Abortin. Aborting. Abortion. Abortional. Abortionist. Abortionists. Abortions. Abortions. Abortive. Abortively. Abortiveness. Abortogenic. Aborts. Abortus. Abortuses. Abos. Abode. Abod. Abuchament. Abudicro. Abod. Abooker. Abulia. Abulias. Abolic. Abound. Abounded. Abounder. Abounding. Aboundingly. Abounds. Aburesk. About. About face. About faced. About facing. Abouts. About ship. About shipped. About shipping. About sledge. About turn. Above. Above board. Above board. Above sided. Above deck. Above found. Above given. Above ground. Above mentioned. Above mentioned. Above named. Above proof. Above quoted. Above reported. Aboves. Above said. Above said. Above stairs. Above water. Above written. About. A box. ABP. ABPC. Abkike. Abridged. Abridged. Abra. Abracadabra. Abrachia. Abrachias. Abradable. Aberdant. Aberdance. Abrade. Abrad. Abrader. Abraders. Abrads. Abrading. Abraham. Abrahamic. Abrahamity. Abrahamite. Abrahamitic. Abraham man. Abrahams. Abrahamson. Abrahan. Aubrey. Abrade. Abram. Abrames. Abramo. Abrams. Abramson. Abran. Abranchial. Abranchialism. Abranchian. Abranchiata. Abranchiate. Abranchius. Abrasax. Abrase. Abrist. Abrasur. Abrash. Abrasing. Abrasiometer. Abrasion. Abrasions. Abrasions. Abrasive. Abrasively. Abrasiveness. Abrasivenesses. Abrasives. Abrastal. Abram. Abraxas. Abrazite. Abrazitic. Abraso. Abrasos. Abriact. Abriacted. Abriacting. Abraction. Abractions. Abracts. Abreast. Abrad. Abrag. Abread. Abrenounce. Abrenunciate. Abrenunciation. Abreption. Abrad. Abreuvoir. Abri. Abrico. Abricock. Abricate. Abridgeable. Abridge. Abridgeable. Abridged. Abridgedly. Abridgment. Abridgments. Abridger. Abridgers. Abridges. Abridging. Abridgment. Abridgments. Abrim. Abrin. Abrin. Abreeze. Abristle. Abroach. Abroad. Abracoma. Abracum. Abrogable. Abrogate. Abrogated. Abrogates. Abrogating. Abrogation. Abrogations. Abrogative. Abrogator. Abrogators. Abroma. Abrams. Abronia. Abruid. Abruk. Abrosia. Abrosias. Abrotinum. Abrotin. Abertine. Abrupt. Abruptly. Abrupter. Abruptist. Abruptio. Abruption. Abruptiones. Abruptly. Abruptness. Abrus. Abruzzi. ABS. ABS. Absa. Absalom. Absampere. Absaraka. Absarica. Absaraki. Absarikite. Abspite. Abscum. Abscess. Abscessed. Abscesses. Abscessing. Abscissin. Abscessrude. Abscend. abscise, abscised, abscisses, abscison, abscising, abscissins, abscission, absciss, abscissa, abscissi, abscisses, abscisses, abscissa, abscissin, abscission, abscissions, absconse, abscond, absconded, abscondedly, abscondence, absconder, absconders, absconding, abscons, absconsa, abscolom, abscond, absecon, absci, absci, obsile, obsiled, obsiling, obsiles, absence, absences, absences, absent, absentation, absented, absentee, absenteeism, absentees, absentees, absenteeship, absenter, absenters, absentia, absenting, absently, absentment, absent-minded, absent-minded, absent-mindedly, absent-mindedly, absent-mindedness, absent-mindedness, absent-mindednesses, absentness, absence, abspharid, abshenry, absher, absy, absinthe, absinthe, absinthes, absinthial, absinthian, absinthiate, absintheated, absintheating, absinthic, absinthian, absinthin, absinthin, absinthism, absinthismic, absinthium, absinthol, absinthole, absinthes, absurdus, absces, absist, absistos, absit, absumho, absom, absoil, absolent, absolute, absolutely, absoluteness, absoluter, absolutes, absolutist, absolution, absolutions, absolutism, absolutist, absolutista, absolutistic, absolutistically, absolutists, absolutive, absolutization, absolutize, absolutory, absolvable, absolvatory, absolve, absolved, absolvent, absolver, absolvers, absolves, absolving, absolvator, absolvatory, abstinent, absunus, absorb, absorbability, absorbable, absorbance, absorbanky, absorbant, absorbed, absorbedly, absorbedness, absorbifacient, absorbency, absorbencies, absorbent, absorbents, absorber, absorbers, absorbing, absorbingly, absorbition, absorbs, absorption, absorbed, absorptance, absorptiometer, absorptiometric, absorption, absorptional, absorptions, absorptions, absorptive, absorptively, absorptiveness, absorptivity, absquatulate, absquatulation, abstain, abstained, abstainer, abstainers, abstaining, abstainment, abstains, abstemious, abstemiously, abstemiousness, abstention, abstentionism, abstentionist, abstentions, abstentious, absterge, absterged, abstergent, absterges, absterging, absterse, abstersion, abstersive, abstersiveness, abstertion, abstinence, abstinences, abstinency, abstinent, abstinential, abstinently, abstort, abster, abstract, abstractable, abstracted, abstractedly, abstractedness, abstractor, abstractors, abstractist, abstracting, abstraction, abstractional, abstractionism, abstractionist, abstractionists, abstractions, abstractions, abstractitious, abstractive, abstractively, abstractiveness, abstractly, abstractness, abstractnesses, abstractor, abstractors, abstractors, abstracts, abstrahent, abstrict, abstricted, abstricting, abstriction, abstricts, abstrued, abstruse, abstrusely, abstruseness, abstrusenesses, abstruser, abstrusist, abstrusion, abstrusity, abstrusities, absum, absumption, absurd, absurder, absurdist, absurdism, absurdist, absurdity, absurdities, absurdities, absurdly, absurdness, absurds, absurdum, absvolt, abt, abterminal, obtain, obtainry, obtainry, obtainage, obtruous, abu, a bubble, abubakr, a bouquet, a bucko, a building, a booker, a bulia, a bullfeather, a bullia, a bullius, a bulic, a bulliath, a bulomania, a bumbrel, a bumbreller, a buna, abundance, abundances, abundancy, abundant, abundantia, abundantly, abun, abera, abarabozu, aberragery, a bourbon, a berry, a burst, a burden, abusable, abusage, abuse, abused, abusedly, abusey, abuseful, abusefully, abusefulness, abuser, abusers, abuses, abush, abusing, abusion, abusius, abusive, abusively, abusiveness, abusivenesses, abut, abutta, abutilon, abutilons, abutment, abutments, abuts, abuttal, abuttals, abutted, abutter, abutters, abutters, abutting, abuzz, abv, abvolt, abvolts, abwab, abwud, abwuts, ac, 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 acdc, acaa, acocalis, acocatecan, acocatecol, acacia, acacia, acacetan, acacia, acacian, acacias, acacian, acasin, Acassin. Academic. Academe. Academies. Academy. Academia. Academile. Academian. Academias. Academic. Academichael. Academically. Academichaels. Academician. Academicians. Academicianship. Academicism. Academics. Academy. Academies. 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 Academist. Academicing. Academyism. Academist. Academite. Academization. Academize. Academized. Academizing. Academus. Acadia. Acadiolite. Acadian. Acadi. Asina. Acajou. Acajous. Acal. Acalculia. Acal. Acaleph. Acalepha. Acalephi. Acalephan. Acaleph. Acalephes. Acalephoid. Acalephs. Acalia. Acalical. Acalicin. Acalicinus. Acaliculate. Acalipha. Acalipteri. Acaliptrata. Acaliptrati. Acaliptrate. Acamar. Acamas. Acampo. Acamcia. Acana. Acanaceous. Acanonical. Acanth. Acanth. Acantha. Acanthaceae. Acanthaceous. Acanthad. Acantharia. Acanthi. Acanthia. Acanthial. Acanthan. Acanthine. Acanthion. Acanthite. Acantho. Acanthocarpus. Acanthocephala. Acanthocephalan. Acanthocephali. Acanthocephalus. Acanthoserious. Acanthocladus. Acanthodia. Acanthodian. Acanthidae. Acanthodes. Acanthodian. Acanthodidae. Acanthodii. Acanthodina. Acanthoid. Acantholaman. Acantholysis. Acanthology. Acanthological. Acanthoma. Acanthomas. Acanthomeridae. Acanthan. Acanthopanax. Acanthophies. Acanthophorus. Acanthopod. Acanthopodus. Acanthopomatus. Acanthopore. Acanthopteran. Acanthoptery. Acanthopterygian. Acanthopterygii. Acanthopterus. Acanthoses. Acanthosis. Acanthotic. Acanthus. Acanthuridae. Acanthurus. Acanthus. Acanthuses. Acanthuthi. Acapnia. Acapneal. Acapneus. Acapella. Acapular. Acapu. Acapulco. Acara. Acarapus. Acarary. Acardia. Acardiac. Acardite. Acari. Acarian. Acaryashas. Acariator. Acaricidal. Acaricide. Acarid. Acarida. Acaridi. Acaridon. Acaridans. Acaridea. Acaridian. Acaridomatia. Acaridомatium. Acarids. Acariform. Acarina. Acarine. Acarines. Acarinosis. Acarnon. Acarosidia. Acarosidium. Acarodermatitis. Acaroid. Acarol. Acarology. Acarologist. Acarophilus. Acarophobia. Acarotoxic. Acarpalus. Acarpalus. Acarpos. Acarus. ACAS. Acast. Acastus. Acatlectic. Acatlepsy. Acatlepsia. Acatleptic. Acatalactic. Acatomathesia. Acataphasia. Acatoposis. Acatastasia. Acatastatic. Acate. Acategorical. Acator. Acatary. Acates. Acatharsi. Acatharsia. Acatholic. Acaudal. Acaudate. Acaudescent. Acaulescence. Acaulescent. Acaulen. Acaulos. Acaulus. Acause. ACB. ACBL. ACC. ACC. Acca. Acable. Accad. Academia. Acadian. Acalia. Axe. Accede. Acceded. Accedence. Acceder. Acceders. Accedes. Acceding. Excel. Excel. Accelerable. Accelerando. Accelerant. Accelerate. Accelerated. Acceleratedly. Accelerates. Accelerating. Acceleratingly. Acceleration. Accelerations. Accelerative. Accelerator. Acceleratory. Accelerators. Accelerograph. Accelerometer. Accelerometers. Accelerometers. Accend. Accendability. Accendable. Accensed. Accension. Accensor. Accent. Accented. Accenting. Accentless. Accenter. Accenters. Accents. Accentuable. Accentual. Accentuality. Accentually. Accentuate. Accentuated. Accentuates. Accentuating. Accentuation. Accentuations. Accentuator. Accentus. Accept. Acceptability. Acceptabilities. Acceptable. Acceptableness. Acceptably. Acceptance. Acceptances. Acceptances. Acceptancy. Acceptancies. Acceptant. Acceptation. Acceptabit. Accepted. Acceptedly. Acceptee. Acceptees. Acceptor. Acceptors. Acceptolate. Acceptolated. Acceptolating. Acceptolation. Accepting. Acceptingly. Acceptingness. Exception. Acceptive. Acceptor. Acceptors. Acceptors. Acceptress. Accepts. Axers. Exercition. Exercitor. Access. Accessibility. Accessible. Accessory. Accessories. Accessorily. Accessoriness. Accessoryship. Accessed. Accesses. Accessibility. Accessibilities. Accessible. Accessibleness. Accessibly. Accessing. Accession. Accessional. Accessioned. Accessioner. Accessioning. Accessions. Accessions. Accessed. Accessive. Accessibly. Accessless. Accessor. Accessory. Accessorial. Accessories. accessory, accessorily, accessoriness, accessories, accessorize, 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 accessorized, accessorizing, accessors, accessors, achacatura, achacaturas, achacature, accidents, accidency, accidencies, accident, accidental, accidentalism, accidentalist, accidentality, accidentally, accidentalness, accidentals, accidentary, accidentarily, accident, accidential, accidentiality, accidentally, accident-prone, accidents, accidia, accidias, accidy, accides, accinge, accinged, accinging, accipenser, accipient, accipiter, accipitral, accipitrary, accipitra, accipitrine, accipter, accise, axismus, accide, axius, acclaim, acclaimable, acclaimed, acclaimer, acclaimers, acclaiming, acclaims, acclamation, acclamations, acclamator, acclamatory, acclimatable, acclimatation, acclimate, acclimated, acclimatement, acclimates, acclimating, acclamation, acclamations, acclimatizable, acclimatization, acclimatus, acclimatist, acclimatizer, acclimatizing, acclimatizable, acclimatization, acclimatizations, acclimatize, acclimatized, acclimatizer, acclimatize, acclimatizing, acclimateur, acclinal, acclinate, acclivity, acclivities, acclivitus, acclivus, accloy, accoaste, accoe, accoed, accoing, accoil, accogeek, accolade, accolade, accolades, accoladed, accolant, ackle, accolade, accold, accolade, accomac, a combination, accommodable, accommodablness, accommodate, accommodated, accommodately, accommodateness, accommodates, accommodating, accommodatingly, accommodatingness, accommodation, accommodational, accommodationist, accommodations, accommodative, accommodatively, accommodativeness, accommodator, accommodators, accommodate, accompaniable, accompany, accompanied, accompanier, accompanies, accompanying, accompanist, accompaniment, accompaniment, accompaniments, accompaniments, accompanist, accompanists, accompanists, accompliment, accompletive, accompli, accomplice, accomplices, accompliceship, accomplicity, accomplice, accomplish, accomplishable, accomplished, accomplisher, accomplishers, accomplishes, accomplishing, accomplishment, accomplishments, accomplishments, accomplished, accompt, accord, accordable, accordance, accordances, accordancy, accordant, accordantly, accordatura, accordaturas, accordature, accorded, accorder, accorders, according, accordingly, accordion, accordionist, accordionists, accordions, accordions, accords, accorporate, accorporation, accost, accostable, accosted, accosting, accosts, accouche, accouchement, accouchements, accoucheur, accoucheurs, accoucheuse, accoucheuses, accounsel, account, accountability, accountabilities, accountable, accountableness, accountably, accountancy, accountancies, accountant, accountant, accountants, accountants, accountantship, accounted, accounter, accounters, accounting, accountings, accountment, accountryment, accounts, accouple, accouplement, accourage, accoured, accouter, accoutered, accoutering, accouterment, accouterments, accouters, accoutra, accoutred, accoutrement, accouterments, accoutra, accoutring, accoville, accra, accrease, accredit, accreditable, accreditate, accreditation, accreditations, accredited, accreditee, accrediting, accreditment, accredits, accrementitial, accrementitian, accress, accrescence, accrescendi, accrescendo, accrescent, accretal, accrete, accreted, accretes, accreting, accretion, accretionary, accretions, accretions, accretive, acriminate, Accrington, accroach, accroached, accroaching, accroachment, accroides, accruable, accrual, accruals, accrue, accrued, accruement, accruer, accrues, accruing, ACCS, ACCT, ACCT, ACCTS, accubation, accubita, accubitum, accubitus, accual, accultural, acculturate, acculturated, acculturates, acculturating, acculturation, acculturational, acculturationist, acculturative, acculturize, acculturized, acculturizing, accum, accum, accumbency, accumbent, accumber, accumulable, accumulate, accumulated, accumulates, accumulating, accumulation, accumulations, accumulative, accumulative, accumulatively, accumulativeness, accumulator, accumulators, accumulators, occupy, occur, accuracy, accuracies, accurate, accurately, accurateness, accuratenesses, occur, occurs, accursed, accursedly, accursedness, accursing, accursed, accurtation, accuse, accusable, accusably, accusal, accusals, accusant, accusants, accusation, accusations, accusations, accusatival, accusative, accusative dative, accusatively, accusativeness, accusatives, accusator, accusatory, accusatorial, accusatorially, accusatrix, accusatrixes, accuse, accused, accuser, accusers, accuses, accusing, accusingly, accusive, accuser, accustom, accustomation, accustomed, accustomedly, accustomedness, accustoming, accustomize, accustomized, accustomizing, accustoms, accutron, ACD, ACDA, ACDC, ACE, ACEA, ACA-synaphthene, ACE, Asian, Asianthrene, Asianthrenikanon, Ascophon, Ascophon, Askenitic, Aste, Asty, Acedia, Acediamin, Acediamine, Acedias, Acediast, Ace high, AC, Aciduci, Acid, Aciatuna, Aceldama, Aceldammas, Acellular, Asimeti, Asimetic, Asimila, Asinaphthene, Asinaphthenil, Asinaphthylene, Asynesthesia, Accentuata, Accentuador, Acentric, Acentrus, Asiology, Asiologic, Acius, Acephala, Acephala, Acephalan, Acephali, Acephalia, Acephalina, Acephaline, Acephalism, Acephalist, Acephalite, Acephalocyst, Acephalus, Acephalus, Aspots, Acequia, Acequiador, Acequias, Acer, Aceraceae, Aceraceous, Aceri, Acerata, Acerate, Acerated, Acerates, Acerothere, Acerotherium, Aceratosis, Acerb, Acerbus, Acerbate, Acerbated, Acerbates, Acerbating, Acerber, Acerbest, Acerbic, acerbically, acerbity, acerbitiaceros, acerbites, acerbitude, acerbly, acerbophobia, acerdol, aceric, acerin, acerly, acerola, acerolas, aceros, acerus, acera, acers, acertanin, acerval, acervate, acervately, acervatum, acervation, acervative, acervos, acervuli, acervulin, acervulus, aces, aces, assessance, assessancy, assessent, assessence, aceship, assessius, assessidine, assessodinus, acisaminus, acists, acistoma, acid, acida, acetable, acetabula, acetabular, acetabularia, acetabuliferous, acetabuliform, acetabulous, acetabulum, acetabulums, acetacidic, acetal, Acetaldehydos. Acetaldehyde. Acetaldehydrase. Acetaldol. Acetalization. Acetylize. Acetals. Acetamide. Acetamide. Acetamidin. Acetamidine. Acetamida. Acetamides. Acetaminol. Acetaminophen. Acetanilide. Acetanilide. Acetanion. Acetonicide. Acetonocidide. Acetinocidine. Acetanin. Acetary. Acetarius. Acetars. Acetarsone. Acetate. Acetate. Acetates. Acetation. Acetazolamide. Acetbromamide. Acetanil. Acetes. Acetidrazide. Acetium. Acetic. Acetify. Acetification. Acetified. Acetifier. Acetifies. Acetifying. Acetyl. Acetylacetonates. Acetylacetone. Acetylamine. Acetylaminobenzene. Acetylaniline. Acetylsalicylic. Acetylate. Acetylated. Acetylating. Acetylation. Acetylative. Acetylator. Acetylbenzene. Acetylbenzoate. Acetylbenzoic. Acetylbiuret. Acetylcarbazole. Acetylcellulose. Acetylcholine. Acetylcholinesterase. Acetylcholinic. Acetylcyanide. Acetylenation. Acetylene. Acetylenidiurane. Acetylenes. Acetylenic. Acetylenyl. Acetylenogen. Acetylfluoride. Acetylglycine. Acetylglycine. Acetylhydrazine. Acetylic. Acetylide. Acetylide. Acetyliodide. Acetylizable. Acetylization. Acetylize. Acetylized. Acetylizer. Acetylizing. Acetylmethylcarbinol. Acetyl peroxide. Acetylphenylhydrazine. Acetylphenol. Acetylrosanilin. Acetyls. Acetylsalicylate. Acetylsalicylic. Acetylsalol. Acetyltannin. Acetylthymol. Acetyltrope. Acetimeter. Acetimetry. Acetometric. Acetin. Acetine. Acetins. Acetate. Acetize. Acetla. Acetmethylanilide. Acetnaphthalide. Aceto. Acetoacetanilide. Acetoacetate. Acetoacetic. Acetoamidophenol. Acetoarsenite. Acetobacter. Acetobenzoic. Acetabrominilide. Acetochloral. Acetocinamine. Acetoin. Acetol. Acetolysis. Acetolytic. Acetometer. Acetometry. Acetometric. Acetometrical. Acetometrically. Acetamorphin. Acetamorphine. Acetonemia. Acetonomic. Acetonaphthone. Acetonate. Acetonation. Acetone. Acetonemia. Acetonomic. Acetones. Acetonic. Acetonal. Acetonylacetone. Acetonylidine. Acetonitrile. Acetonization. Acetonize. Acetonuria. Acetonurometer. Acetophenetide. Acetophenetidine. Acetophenetidine. Acetophenin. Acetophenin. Acetophenone. acetopyperone, acetopyrin, acetopyrene, acetosalicylic, acetose, acetoside, acetosoluble, acetosterin, acetothianone, acetotoluid, acetotoluid, acetotoluidine, acetus, acetoveretrone, acetoxyl, acetoxyls, acetoxim, acetoxime, acetoxyphthalide, acetphenetide, acetphenetidine, astract, acetoluid, acetum, aceturic, ACF, ACGI, AC-globulin, ACH, ACAB, ACAD, Achaea, Achaean, Achaemenese, Achaemenian, Achaemenid, Achaemenidi, Achaemenides, Achaemenidian, Achaemenids, Echinocarp, Echinodon, Acheta, Achetus, Achaeus, Achave, Achage, Acagua, Achaea, Achaean, Achoxi, Achalasia, Achamoth, Acan, Acango, Acap, Acock, Achar, Acharya, Acariaceae, Acariaceous, Acarn, Acarnement, Acharnians, Acate, Achates, Achatina, Achatinella, Achatinity, Achatur, Achas, Ake, Achiat, Achac, Achac, Ached, Acre, Achaft, Acheolary, Achelia, Acheolus, Achiria, Acheurus, Acheurus, Achlaus, Achan, Achene, Achenes, Achenia, Achnile, Achenium, Achinocarp, Achinodia, Achinodium, Acher, Acherman, Acherner, Acheron, Acheronian, Acherontic, Acherontical, Aches, Acheson, Achson, Achete, Achetity, Acheulean, Acheulean, Acheweed, Achy, Achier, Achiest, Achievability, Achievable, Achieve, Achieved, Achievement, Achievements, Achievements, Achiever, Achievers, Achieves, Achieving, ACHY-FI, Achigan, Achillary, Achalia, Achil, Achil, Achillea, Achillean, Achilleus, Achilleid, Achillan, Achillane, Achilles, Achilles, Achilobercitis, Achilodinia, Achilaus, Achilaus, Achimos, Achim, Achimelech, Achimenes, Achimia, Achimaus, Achineset, Achinus, Achinesses, Aching, Achingly, Achiote, Achiotes, Achira, Achiranthes, Achirite, Achirodes, Achish, Achitophel, Achkin, Acclamidate, Acclamidiae, Acclamidius, Achlorhydria, Achlorhydric, Achlorophyllus, Achloropsia, Achluophobia, Achmed, Achmetha, Acoke, Acolia, Acolius, Acolic, Acolo, Acolus, Acoluria, Acholuric. Acomai. Achondrite. Achondritic. Achondroplasia. Achondroplastic. Achew. Acre. Achordal. Achordata. Achordate. Achorian. Acorn. Acros. Acree. Acrocyte. Acronthes. Acrodextrin. Acrodextrinase. Acroglobin. Acroiosithamia. Acroiosithemia. Acroite. Acroma. Acromocyte. Acromasia. Acromad. 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 Acromachiaceae. Achromatic. Achromatically. Achromaticity. Achromatin. Achromatinic. Achromatization. Achromatus. Achromatist. Achromatising. Achromatism. Achromatium. Achromatizable. Achromatization. Achromatize. Achromatized. Achromatizing. Achromatocyte. Achromatolysis. Achromatope. Achromatophil. Achromatophile. Achromatophilia. Achromatophilic. Achromatopia. Achromatopsy. Achromatopsia. Achromatosis. Achromatus. Achromats. Achromaturia. Achromia. Achromic. Achromycin. Achromobacter. Achromobacteria. Achromoderma. Achromophilus. Achromatrichia. Achromis. Achronical. Achronicus. Achronism. Achroo. Acrodextrin. Acrodextrinase. Acrus. Acropsia. Exa. Actihalber. Actal. Actalthaler. Actor. Actorfelt. Ashuas. Ashwit. AC. Acyanoblepsia. Acyanopsia. Acyclorid. Acycloride. Acyclic. Acyclically. Acicula. Aciculae. Acicular. Acicularity. Acicularly. Aciculas. Aciculate. Aciculated. Aciculum. Aciculums. Acid. Acidamia. Acidalium. Acidanthera. Acidaspes. Acid binding. Acidemia. Acidemias. Acidur. Acid fast. Acid fastness. Acid forming. Acid head. Acid head. Acid heads. Acidy. Acidic. Acidiferous. Acidify. Acidifiable. Acidifiant. Acidific. Acidification. Acidified. Acidifier. Acidifiers. Acidifies. Acidifying. Acidyl. Acidimeter. Acidometry. Acidometric. Acidometrical. Acidometrically. Acidite. Acidity. Acidities. Acidize. Acidized. Acidizing. Acidly. Acidness. Acidnesses. Acidogenic. Acidoid. Acidolysis. Acidology. Acidometer. Acidometry. Acidophil. Acidophile. Acidophilic. Acidophilus. Acidophilus. Acidoproteolytic. Acidosis. Acidosis. Acidosteophyte. Acidotic. Acid-proof. Acids. Acidulates. Acidulating. Acidulation. Acidulant. acidulous, acidulously, acidulousness, aciduria, acid ureus, acid uric, AC, acer, acerage, aceral, acerate, acerated, acerates, acerating, aceration, aces, aciesis, acietic, aciform, acil, acilamido, acilamidobenzene, acilamino, acylase, acylate, acylated, acylates, acylating, acylation, acyliate, acyliated, acylias, acylogen, acyloin, acyloins, acyloxy, acyloxymethane, acyls, acyma, acinaceous, acinaces, acinacifoliate, acinacifolious, acinaciform, acinaceous, acinacity, aciner, acinary, acinarius, acinta, acinti, acintan, acintaria, acintarian, acintic, acintaiform, acintina, acintinan, acing, acini, acinic, aciniform, acinos, acinotubular, acinus, acinuni, acinus, acius, acipensor, acipensirs, acipensarid, acipensaridae, acipensarine, acipensaroid, acipensaroidii, acerology, acerological, ACIS, acistia, acetate, acidy, acergy, ac, acac, aci, acies, aclastic, acal, aclidian, aclistocardia, aclistus, acalman, aclides, aclidian, aclinal, aclinic, aclis, aclock, acloud, ACLS, ACLU, ACM, acmea, acmeity, acmeisthesia, acmatic, acme, acmes, acmesthesia, acmic, acmispone, acmide, acmen, acne, acneed, acneiform, acniform, acnemia, acnes, acnida, acnodal, acnode, acnodes, aco, acoism, acoisma, acost, acockanthera, acocantherin, acock, acockbill, acockbill, acockhorse, acockidal, acola, achylomita, achylomit, achylomitus, achylomi, achylomus, achylus, acoameti, acoameti, acoametic, asynesthesia, ACOF, acoin, acoine, acol, acolapisa, acold, acolhua, acolhuan, acolictine, acolyte, acolytes, acolyth, acolythate, acolytus, ecology, ecologic, ecolus, ecoluthic, acoma, acomia, acomus, acompass, aconative, aconcagua, acondylos, acondylus, acone, aconolin, aconic, aconine, aconine, aconitl, aconite, aconites, aconitia, aconitic, aconitin, aconitin, aconitum, aconitums, acontia, acontias, acontium, acontius, acanuresis, acol, acop, acopic, acopirin, acopirine, acopan, acer, asuria, acaria, acorn, acorned, acorns, acorns, acorn shell, acorus, acosmic, acosmism, acosmist, acosmistic, accost, acosta, acotyledon, acotyledonous, aquasum, acouchi, acouchi, acometer, acometry, accounter, acoometer, acophonia, acoop, acoopa, acoop, acousma, acousmas, acousmata, acousmatic, acoustic, acoustical, acoustically, acoustician, acoustico, acousticolateral, acousticon, acousticophobia, acoustics, acoustoelectric, ACP, accept, accept, aqua, acquaint, acquaintance, acquaintances, acquaintances, acquaintanceship, acquaintanceships, acquaintancy, acquaintant, acquainted, acquaintedness, acquainting, acquaints, aquaviva, acant, acquirer, acquest, acquests, acquiesce, acquiesced, acquiescement, acquiescence, acquiescences, acquiescency, acquiescent, acquiescently, acquiescer, acquiesces, acquiescing, acquiescingly, acquiescence, acquiet, acquirability, acquirable, acquire, acquired, acquirement, acquirements, acquiranda, acquirer, acquirers, acquires, acquiring, acquisible, acquisita, acquisit, acquisited, acquisition, acquisitional, acquisitions, acquisitions, acquisitive, acquisitively, acquisitiveness, acquisitor, acquisitum, acquist, acquit, acquittal, acquitment, acquits, acquittal, acquittals, acquittance, acquitted, acquitter, acquitting, aquaphonia, ACR, acra, acrab, acrashi, acrea, acraeine, acraene, acraldehyde, acrania, acranial, acraniate, acrazy, acrasia, acrasiaceae, acrasials, acrasius, acrasida, acrasia, acrocin, acrocins, acraspida, acraspidote, acracia, acrateresis, acral, acrase, acre, acreable, acreage, acreages, acreek, acreem, acred, acredale, acredula, acrefoot, acre-inch, acremen, acreman, acres, acres, acrestaff, acri, acrid, acridine, acridane, acridur, acridist, acridion, acritic, acridid, acrididi, acridiity, acridil, acridin, acridine, acridines, acridinic, acridinium, acridite, acridithes, acridium, acridium, acridly, acridness, acridnesses, acridon, acridonium, acridophagus, acroflavin, acroflavine, acryl, acrylaldehyde, acrylon, acrylate, acrylates, acrylic, acrylics, acrylyl, acrylonitrile, acrimony, acrimonies, acrimonious, acrimoniously, acrimoniousness, acrindoline, acrindoline, acrinil, acrisi, acrisia, acrisus, acrida, acritin, acrite, acridy, acritical, acritichromacy, acritole, acritude, acronema, acro, acro, acroesthesia, acroema, acroemata, acroematic, acroematical, acroematics, acroanesthesia, acroarthritis, acroasis, acroasphyxia, acrotaxia, acroatic, acrobacy, acrobacies, acrobat, acrobats, acrobatholythic, acrobatic, acrobatical, acrobatically, acrobatics, acrobatism, acrobats, acrobats, acrobistitis, acroblast, acrobrios, acrocarpi, acrocarpus, acrocentric, acrocephaly, acrocephalia, acrocephalic, acrocephalus, acrocera, acroceratidity, acroceronian, acroceridae, acrocordidae, acrocordini, acrocordon, acrocyanosis, acrocyst, acroc, acroclinium, acrocomia, acroconidium, acrocontracture, acrocaracoid, acrocorinth, acrodactyla, acrodactylum, acrodermatitis, acrodynia, acrodont, acrodontaism, acrodonts, acrodrome, acrodromus, acrodus, acroesthesia, acrogamy, acrogamous, acrogen, acrogenic, acrogenous, acrogenously, acrogens, acrogeny, acrogenous, acrography, acrolean, acroleans, acrolith, acrolithin, acrolithic, acroliths, acrology, acrologic, acrologically, acrologies, acrologism, acrologue, acromania, acromastitis, acromegaly, acromegalia, acromegalic, acromegalies, acromelalgia, acrometer, acromia, acromile, acromacria, acromamia, acromioclavicular, acromiocaracoid, acromiodeltoid, acromyote, acromyotian, acromyotic, acromyotis, acromiohyoid, acromiohumeral, acromion, acromioscapular, acromiosternal, acromiothoracic, acromyotonia, acromyotonus, acromonogrammatic, acromphilis, acron, acronal, acronarcotic, acroneurosis, acronic, acronic, acronychal, acronical, acronically, acronically, acronic, acronichal, acronichal, acronichally, acronichally, acronijos, acronicta, acronictus, acronym, acronymic, acronymically, acronymize, acronymized, acronymizing, acronymouse, acronyms, acronyms, acronics, acronomy, acrook, acroparalysis, acroparesthesia, acropathy, acropathology, acropetal, acropetally, acrophobia, acrophonetic, acrophony, acrophonic, acrophonically, acrophonies, acropodia, acropodium, acropolis, acropolis, acropolises, acropolitan, acropora, acropore, acroragus, acroruma, acrosarch, acrosarca, acrosarcum, acroscleriasis, acroscleroderma, acroscopic, acros, acrosum, acrosums, acros facilis, acrosphere, acrospeared, acrospearing, acrospore, acrosporus, across, across the board, acrostic, acrostical, acrostically, acrostical, acrosticia, acrostichic, acrosticoid, acrosticium, acrosticism, acrostix, acrostalia, acrostalion, acrostalium, acrotarsial, acrotarsium, acrotalutic, acroter, acroteral, acroteria, acroterial, acroteric, acroterion, acroterium, acroterteria, acrothoracica, acrotic, acrotism, acrotisms, acrotimus, acrotrita, acrotretity, acrotrophic, acrotrophonerosis, acrux, ACRV, ACS, ACSE, XNet, ACSU, ACT, ACTA, ACTability, ACTable, ACTIA, ACTIACE, ACTIAN, ACTIANITY, ACTED, ADC, ADC, ACTH, ACTIAD, Actian, Actify, Actification, Actifier, Actin, Actin, Actinal, Actin ally, Actinotography, Actinotographic, Actin, Actinenchima, Acting, Acting out, Actings, Actinia, Actinii, Actinian, Actinians, Actiniaria, Actiniarian, Actinius, Actinic, Actinical, Actinically, Actinide, Actinides, Actinidia, Actinidiaceae, Actiniferous, Actiniform, Actinine, Actiniatrome, Actiniohemidin, Actiniomorpha, Actinism, Actinisms, Actinistia, Actinium, Actineums, Actino, Actinobacilli, Actinobacilli, Actinobacillosis, Actinobacillotic, Actinobacillus. Actinoblast. Actinobranch. Actinobranchia. Actinocarp. Actinocarpic. Actinocarpus. Actinochemical. Actinochemistry. Actinocrinid. Actinocrinidae. Actinocrinite. Actinocrinus. Actinoculitis. Actinodermatitis. Actinodielectric. Actinodrome. Actinodromus. Actinoelectric. Actinoelectrically. Actinoelectricity. Actinogonidiot. Actinogram. Actinograph. Actinography. Actinographic. Actinoid. Actinoida. Actinoidea. Actinoids. Actinolite. Actinolytic. Actinology. Actinologus. Actinology. Actinomera. Actinomeric. Actinometer. Actinometers. Actinometry. Actinometric. Actinometrical. Actinometracy. Actinomyces. Actinomyce. Actinomycesis. Actinomycestal. Actinomystaceae. Actinomystal. Actinomystales. Actinomycete. Actinomycetus. Actinomycin. Actinomycoma. Actinomycosis. Actinomycocystic. Actinomycotic. Actinomyxidia. Actinomyxidioida. Actinomorphy. Actinomorphic. Actinomorphous. Actinon. Actinonema. Actinonoritis. Actinons. Actinophone. Actinophonic. Actinophore. Actinophorus. Actinophrion. Actinophorus. Actinopod. Actinopoda. Actinopraxis. Actinopteron. Actinoptery. Actinopterygian. Actinopterygii. Actinopterygus. Actinopterus. Actinoscopy. Actinosoma. Actinosum. Actinospherium. Actinost. Actinostereoscopy. Actinostomal. Actinostome. Actinotherapeutic. Actinotherapeutics. Actinotherapy. Actinotoxemia. Actinotracheum. Actinotrocha. Actinorhinium. Actinozoa. Actinozoal. Actinozoan. Actinozoon. Actins. Actinula. Actinulae. Action. Actionability. Actionable. Actionably. Actional. Actionary. Actioner. Actions. Actionist. Actionize. Actionized. Actionizing. Actionless. Actions. Actions. Action taking. Actious. Actipilia. Actus. Actium. Activable. Activate. Activated. Activates. Activating. Activation. Activations. Activator. Activators. Activators. Active. Active-bodied. Actively. Active-limbed. Active-minded. Activeness. Actives. Activin. Activism. Activisms. Activist. Activists. Activists. Activital. Activity. Activized. Activizing. Actless. Actomycin. Actin. Actor. Actory. Actority. Actorish. Actor manager. Actor proof. Actors. Actors. Actorship. actos, actpio, actress, actresses, actressy, actresses, acts, actu, actual, actualization, actualize, actualized, actualizing, actualism, actualist, actualistic, actuality, actualities, actualization, actualizations, actualize, actualized, actualizes, actualizing, actually, actualness, actuals, actuary, actuarial, actuarially, actuarian, actuaries, actuaryship, actuate, actuated, actuates, actuating, actuation, actuator, actuators, actuators, actuos, actup, acture, acturance, actus, accitate, actweight, acu, acuesthesia, acuin, acuate, acuating, acuation, acubens, acuchi, acuclosure, aqueductor, aqueirdo, aqueirdos, aquesthesia, acuity, acuities, aculia, aculii, aculeata, aculeate, aculeated, aculae, aculiform, aculeolate, aculeolus, aculeus, acumble, acumen, acumens, acuminate, acuminated, acuminating, acumination, acuminos, acuminous, acuminulate, acupress, acupressure, acupunctuate, acupunctuation, acupuncturation, acupuncturator, acupuncture, acupunctured, acupunctures, acupuncturing, acupuncturist, acupuncturists, acurative, acus, acusection, acusector, acushla, acushnet, accustom, acutance, acutances, acutangular, acutate, acute, acute-angled, acutely, acutinaculum, acuteness, acutenesses, acuter, acutes, acutist, acuity, acutiator, acutifoliate, acutilingue, acutilingual, acutilobate, acutiplantar, acutish, acuto, acutograve, acutonodos, acuterzion, ACV, ACW, ACWA, Ackworth, ACWP, Accoyotl, Ad, Ada, Audible, Adabel, Adaca, Adactyl, Adactylia, Adactylism, Adactylus, Audad, Adage, Adages, Adage, Adagil, Adagietto, Adagiettos, Adagio, Adagios, Adagissimo, Ada, Adaha, Ade, 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 Adeha, Adair, Adairsville, Adairville, Adays, Adas, Adal, Adala, Adalai, Adalard, Adalad, Adalbert, Adalhide, Adali, Adalia, Adalia, Adalid, Adali, Adeline. Adal. Adalard. Adam. Adama. Adamance. Adamances. Adamancy. Adamancies. Adamanive. Adamant. Adamantian. Adamantine. Adamantinoma. Adamantly. Adamantles. Adamantness. Adamantoblast. Adamantoblastoma. Adamantoid. Adamantoma. Adamants. Adamas. Adamastor. Adamawa. Adamawa Eastern. Adambulacral. Adamek. Adamek. Adamelite. Adamello. Adamhood. Adamic. Adamical. Adamically. Adamic. Adamina. Adamina. Adamine. Adames. Adamite. Adamitic. Adamitical. Adamitism. Adamo. Adamok. Adams. Adams Basin. Adamsbig. Adamson. Adamsia. Adamsite. Adamsites. Adamski. Adam's Needle. Adamson. Adamstown. Adamsoon. Adamsville. Adon. Adona. Adance. Adance. Adangle. Adangle. Adansonia. Adeo. Adopa. Adapid. Adapes. Adapt. Adaptability. Adaptabilities. Adaptable. Adaptableness. Adaptably. Adaptation. Adaptational. Adaptation ally. Adaptations. Adaptations. Adaptative. Adapted. Adaptedness. Adapter. Adapters. Adapting. Adaption. Adaptional. Adaptionism. Adaptions. Adaptitude. Adaptive. Adaptively. Adaptiveness. Adaptivity. Adaptometer. Adapter. Adaptorial. Adapters. Adapts. Adar. Adara. Adarbitrium. Adarm. Adarticulation. Audot. Audati. Audati. Audatus. Audatum. Adont. Adored. Ada. Ada. Adalud. Adon. Adaxial. Adazzle. ADB. ADC. EDP. ADCI. Edkin. Edkins. Adcraft. Ad. Ad. Ada. Adability. Adable. Ad. Adam. Adams. Adax. Adaxes. Adp. Ada. Added. Added. Addedly. Adim. Addend. Addenda. Addends. Addendum. Addendums. Adder. Adderbolt. Adderfish. Adders. Adder's grass. Adder's meat. Adder's mouth. Adder's mouths. Adder spit. Adder's tongue. Adder's tongue. Adderword. Addy. Addy. Addia. Addibility. Addible. Addice. Addicent. Addict. Addicted. Addictedness. Addicting. Addiction. Addictions. Addictions. Addictive. Addictively. Addictiveness. Addictives. Addicts. Addy. Addiego. Addial. Addyville. Addiment. Adding, Addington, Addio, Addis, Addison, Addisonian, Addisoniana, Addiston, Addita, Additamment, Additamentary, Addiment, addition, additional, additionally, additionary, additionist, additions, additions, additive, additive, additively, additives, additives, additivity, additory, additum, additor, addle, addle-brain, addle-brained, addled, addle-head, addle-headed, addle-headedly, addle-headedness, addlement, addleness, addlepate, addlepate, addlepateness, addleplot, addles, addling, addlings, addlins, addn, adnel, adum, adurst, adust, address, address, addressability, addressable, addressed, addressee, addressees, addressees, addresser, addressers, addresses, addressful, addressing, addressograph, addresser, addressed, ads, adduc, adduce, adducible, adduced, adducent, adducer, adducers, adduces, adducible, adducing, adduct, adducted, adducting, adduction, adductive, adductor, adductors, adducts, adulce, aid, aided, aided, adibia, aiding, adeem, adeemed, adeeming, adeems, adeep, adeep, aiding, Adele, Adela, Adelaida, Adelaide, Adelaja, Adelantaduke, Adelantadues, Adelante, Adelanto, Adelarthra, Adelarthrosomata, Adelarthrosomatus, Adelaster, Adelbert, Adele, Adelia, Adelaide, Adulges, Adelheid, Adelia, Adelis, Adelina, Adelind, Adeline, Adeling, Adelete, Adeliza, Adele, Adela, Adele, Adeloceras, Adelacorda, Adelocodonic, Adelomorphic, Adelomorphous, Adelopod, Adelopes, Adelph, Adelphi, Adelphia, Adelphian, Adelphic, Adelpho, Adelphogamy, Adelphoi, Adelpholite, Adelphophagy, Adelphus, Adelric, Adamonist, Adempt, Adempted, Ademption, Aden, Aden, Adena, Adenalgi, Adenalgia, Adenanthera, Adenace, Adenasthenia, Adenauer, Adendric, Adendritic, Adenectomy, Adenectomies, Adenectopia, Adenectopic, Adenemphratic, Adenemphraxis, Adenea, Adeniform, Adenil, Adenilic, Adenylpyrophosphate, Adenils, Adenine, Adenine, Adenines, Adenitis, Adenitises, Adenization, Adeno, Adenocanthoma, Adenoblast. Adenochondroid. Adenocarcinoma. Adenocarcinomas. Adenocarcinomata. Adenocarcinoma 2. Adenocele. Adenocellulitis. Adenochondroma. Adenochondrosarcoma. Adenochrome. Adenocyst. Adenocystoma. Adenocystomatous. Adenodermia. Adenodiastasis. Adenodynia. Adenofibroma. Adenofibrosis. Adenogenesis. Adenogenous. Adenographer. Adenography. Adenographic. Adenographical. Adenohypersthenia. Adenohypophyseal. Adenohypophyseal. Adenohypophysis. Adenoid. Adenoidal. Adenoidectomy. Adenoidectomies. Adenoidism. Adenoiditis. Adenolymphoma. Adenoliomyofibroma. Adenolipoma. Adenolipomatosis. Adenologaditis. Adenology. Adenological. Adenoma. Adenomalacia. Adenomas. Adenomata. Adenomatome. Adenomatous. Adenomeningeal. Adenometritis. Adenomycosis. Adenomyofibroma. Adenomyoma. Adenomyxoma. Adenomyxosarcoma. Adenonchus. Adenoneural. Adenoneur. Adenopathy. Adenopharyngeal. Adenopharyngitis. Adenophilus. Adenophema. Adenophlegmon. Adenophora. Adenophore. Adenophorus. Adenophorus. Adenophthalmia. Adenopotus. Adenosarcoma. Adenosarcomas. Adenosarcomata. Adenosclerosis. Adenos. Adenoses. Adenosine. Adenosis. Adenostomonas. Adenostoma. Adenotyphoid. Adenotyphus. Adenotome. Adenotomy. Adenotomic. Adenous. Adenoviral. Adenovirus. Adenoviruses. Adiodatus. Adephaga. Adephagon. Adephagia. Adephagus. Adepts. Adept. Adeptor. Adeptist. Adeption. Adeptly. Adeptness. Adeptnesses. Adepts. Adeptship. Adequacy. Adequacies. Adequate. Adequately. Adequateness. Adequation. Adequative. Ader. Adermia. Adermin. Adermine. Adesime. Adespota. Adespoton. Adescenarian. Adessive. Adist. Adist. Adet. Aduism. Atavism. Adew. ADF. Adfected. Adfroze. Adfrozen. Adfiliate. Adfix. Adfluxion. Adfreeze. Adfreezing. Adferf. Adfroze. Adfrozen. Adger. Adglutinate. Adhafer. Adhaka. Adam. Adhamant. Adhamite. Adhara. Adharma. Adherent. Adhere. Adhered. Adherence. Adherences. Adherency. Adherent. Adherence. Adherent. Adherently. Adherence. Adherence. Adherer. Adherers. Adheres. Adherescence. Adherescent. Adhering. Adhern. adhesion, adhesional, adhesions, adhesive, adhesively, adhesive meter, adhesiveness, adhesives, adhesives, adhibit, adhibited, adhibiting, adhibitution, adhibits, adhocracy, adhort, ADI, Audi, adiabat, adiabatic, adiabatically, adiabolist, adioctinic, adiaticokinesia, adiaticokinesis, adiaticokinesi, adiaticokinesia, adianostic, adiamorphic, adiamorphism, adiana, adiantiform, adiantum, adiaphanous, adiaphanousness, adiaphon, adiaphonon, adiaphora, adiaphoral, adiaphoresis, adiaphoretic, adiaphory, adiaphorism, adiaphorist, adiaphoristic, adiaphorite, adiaphoron, adiaphorus, adianostia, adiate, adiated, adiathermal, adiathermancy, adiatherminus, adiathermic, adiathetic, adiating, adiation, adib, adibasi, adi Buddha, adicia, adicity, adi, adiel, adiel, adience, adient, adu, adus, adus, audij, audige, adigii, audigii, adu, adinghi, adite, adigranth, adigon, adila, adim, adin, adina, adenami, adenamia, adenamias, adinamic, adine, adenita, adenidin, adenole, adinvention, adian, adios, adipate, adipescent, adiphenin, adipic, adipil, adipinic, adipocele, adipocellulose, adipocere, adipoceriform, adipocerite, adipocerus, adipocyte, adipofibroma, adipogenic, adipogenous, adipoid, adipolysis, adipolytic, adipomata, adipomatus, adipometer, adiponitrile, adipopectic, adipopexia, adipopexic, adipopexis, adipose, adiposeness, adipose, adiposis, adipositate, adipositas, adiposogenital, adiposuria, adipus, adici, adipsia, adipsic, adipsis, Adirondack, Adirondacks, Addis, Added, Addita, Addidal, Auditya, Additia, Additan, Addits, Addita, Addidum, Addidus, Adivasi, Adiz, Adjective, Adjective, Adjacence, Adjacency, Adjacencies, Adjacent, Adjacently, Adjag, Adject, Adjection, Adjectional, Adjectitious, Adjectival, Adjectivally, Adjective, Adjectively, Adjectives, Adjectives, Adjectivism, Adjectivitis, Adjiga, Adjiger, Adjoin, Adjoinant, Adjoined, Adjointly, adjoiner, adjoining, adjoiningness, adjoins, adjoint, adjoints, adjourn, adjournal, adjourned, adjourning, adjournment, adjournments, adjourns, adjust, await, await, adjudge, adjudgeable, adjudged, adjudger, adjudges, adjudging, adjudgment, adjudicata, adjudicate, adjudicated, adjudicates, adjudicating, adjudication, adjudications, adjudications, adjudicative, adjudicator, adjudicatory, adjudicators, adjudicature, adjugate, adjuvant, adjunct, adjunction, adjunctive, adjunctively, adjunctly, adjuncts, adjuncts, adjuntas, adjuration, adjurations, adjuratory, adjure, adjured, adjurer, adjurers, adjurers, adjuring, adjurer, adjurers, adjust, adjustability, adjustable, adjustable pitch, adjustably, adjustage, adjustation, adjusted, adjuster, adjusters, adjusting, adjustive, adjustment, adjustmental, adjustments, adjustments, adjuster, adjustors, adjusting, adjusters, adjusters, adjusts, adjutage, adjutancy, adjutancies, adjutant, adjutant general, adjutants, adjutantship, agitator, adjut, adjutor, adjutary, adjutorius, adjutrice, adjutrix, adjuvant, adjuvants, adjuvate, adkins, adlay, adlay, adler, adler, adley, adlegation, adleger, adley, adley, adler, adlerian, adless, adlit, adlib, adlibbed, adlibber, adlibbing, adlamia, adlamidin, adlamidine, adlamin, adlamine, ADM, ADM, adma, adman, admarginate, admass, admaxillary, ADMD, admeasure, admeasured, admeasurement, admeasurer, admeasuring, admedial, admedian, admen, admensuration, admerve, admead, admittus, adme, admin, adminical, adminicula, adminicular, adminiculary, adminiculate, adminiculation, adminiculum, administer, administered, administered, administerial, administering, administerings, administers, administrable, administrant, administrants, administrate, administrated, administrates, administrating, administration, administrational, administrationist, administrations, administrations, administrative, administratively, administrator, administrators, administrators, administratorship, administratress, administratrices, administratrix, administration, administrations, admirability, admirable, admirableness, admirably, admiral, admirals, admirals, admiralship, admiralships, admiralty, admiralties, admirants, admiration, admirations, admirative, admiratively, admirator, admire, admired, admiredly, admirer, admirers, admires, admiring, admiringly, admissibility, admissible, admissibility, admissibilities, admissible, admissibleness, admissibly, admission, admissions, admissions, admissive, admissively, admissory, admit, admits, admittable, admittance, admittances, admitted, admitted, admittedly, admittee, admitter, admitters, admitting, admittable, admitting, admixes, admixing, admixed, admixtion, admixture, admixtures, admonish, admonished, admonisher, admonishes, admonishing, admonishingly, admonishment, admonishments, admonishments, admonition, admonitioner, admonitionist, admonitions, admonitions, admonitive, admonitively, admonitor, admonitory, admonitorial, admonitorily, admonitrix, admortization, admove, admove, admares, adn, adna, adnan, adnascence, adnas.